Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Letting everyone in a little early so we can get a head start on getting everyone into the waiting room. Hi, Marina. How are
Hey,
you? Good
good. It's good to see you, Victor.
to see you too. Thanks for coming on.
Of course, yes. I think there'll be a good turnout tonight.
You never know. But I've been getting a lot of people DMing me on LinkedIn asking for the link. So,
Yes.
it's looking good so far.
Hmm.
So, welcome. For those of you who are here, if you want to just put in the chat, do a little introduction, so when people come in, they know where you're from. And William, you just contacted me today. Your class
Yes,
is coming in, right?
good
Oh,
evening, Victor, calling in
yeah.
from Boston, Rhode Island.
Oh,
Yes,
nice.
thank you so much for sending the link. Um, just to maybe the people are here, I'm an adjunct professor at the School of Social Work and I'm teaching macro social work at the moment. So I shared it with my students. So I know one of them said they're in a class, but they want to come in at 20 past 7, so they might come in late. But
Right, right.
yes, hopefully we'll get a couple of the students to come, and that would be good.
Wonderful.
Um, yeah, looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate you being
Victor.
here. Pedro, are you Pedro from Florida?
I am Pedro from
You
Florida. Hi,
are
Victor.
Pedro from Florida. You're my new friend on LinkedIn.
Thank you for the invite, Victor. Yes, Pedro Astronomy here from NESW Florida Legislative Chair. I am
Awesome.
based out of Tampa.
Nice. Very nice. Cool. Well, welcome to you. And there's my former student, Allie. She just graduated yesterday, went through commencement. Congratulations, Allie. It's good to see you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for hosting this.
Absolutely. There's a lot we could do tonight. But my invitation was kind of broad in general. And my wife was asking me if I was nervous. I'm like, hell yeah, I don't, I'm inviting all these people. I don't know what we're gonna do. So bear with me. But I think in the way that and I've reached out to most of you through LinkedIn, and many of you found the link on LinkedIn. I think a lot of us, I think we just want to meet each other and see what we're doing and see what we're up to. There are a range of people here who are from students like Allie, who are kind of interested in um, kind of seeing what's going on in the macro area of social work. There are folks like William out in Boston who's actually teaching macro classes, and everyone in between. So I really wanted to give us an opportunity to get together and really see what we could do together as a group, because I was really just kind of blown away by the response that I got from many, many people on LinkedIn who actually in their in their description on their profile said macro social work. What I really want to do is get us to meet each other. Of course, the only way we could do that is by doing some breakout rooms. So I'm going to do a few breakout rooms just so we can meet each other and talk to each other and learn about the type of work we're doing, and hopefully to generate some ideas about what we might be able to do together as a group. And I have no I have no ideas in my, well, that's not true. I have a lot of ideas in my head, but I would like all of you to kind of think about what could come out of this gathering. What could come out of a meeting of, let's see, how many of us are here now? About 35 of us that are on this call. Um, what could we do? What kind of ideas do you have that we could kind of advance the work that we're all doing? Because there's one thing that I've learned in the past couple of years of really venturing out and really making it intentional to meet other social workers in the space is that we're all doing so many different things, and there's still yet so much to be done. And but I think the farther we kind of isolate and differentiate and become siloed, the less effective we are as a profession. And we need to come back together and draw upon our common values and ethics and education and experience and work together to improve what is happening in our neighborhoods, our communities, in our counties, states, in governments, and across the world. So that's kind of my big picture idea here, but I need all of you to kind of, talk to each other and listen to each other and learn from each other and give us your best ideas. So I'm going to start off by putting you into breakout rooms. And I'm going to ask you 2 questions in the breakout rooms. So I'm going to put the questions here in the chat for you to consider. What big challenge do you bring to this gathering tonight? And what do you hope to get from and give to this group that is assembled today? Okay, those are the 2 questions I want you to ponder for a moment. Perhaps we could have a little bit of open discussion here. What kind of things do you think we could do together as a group that you would be willing to devote some time to or effort? William, go ahead.
No, well, firstly, I do think I say I only connected with you today. So I'm kind of saying, yes, absolutely, please organize another one of these because I think the whole role of macro social work is so poorly understood in so many jurisdictions that the more that we can come together and the more that we can develop and learn from each other, I think, and the more that we can kind of solidify somehow the role of macro in society. I think my 2 breakout rooms, we both acknowledge that we're in difficult times and it's difficult times for macro practice, for us to be able to stick our head above the parapet. And I'm seeing that with my social work students, which I know there's one of them here, but we talk about the fear of sticking our head above the parapet, which is a core aspect of macro practice.
Right.
So I do think that the more that we can talk and the more that we can share, I think we can learn and develop from that.
Excellent. Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Absolutely agree with you. I think there's a value in our coming together, and I want to make sure that um, that if that's something that you all are interested in doing, we can. And I see that some people have already put stuff in the chat, so you are welcome to put it in the chat too, because I could keep a record of that. That's being recorded, and I can go back and look at it. But if you're interested in continuing to meet or to being more involved in some way and kind of helping to coordinate, facilitate, this group and how we move forward, you could put that in the chat as well. So Lorelei and then Christian will be up next. Lorelei?
Hi, thank you. So I think what I would like to get out of this is more networking with folks that are of the similar mind and want to continue the conversation. So either a Slack platform or a Discord or some other ability to keep the connection and discussion going would be very helpful, I think.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lorelei. Yeah, some form of communication where we could communicate with each other real time and not having to, spend time coming on a Zoom meeting, too frequently or anything like that. Okay, good. Christian?
Yes, so I'm an MSW student. So the purpose of me coming was because I wanted to learn from, practitioners, those that are in the field. Something that I find, and I've raised this with my university, which is University of Houston, is that we as students coming in, and all of us are not young, some of us are a little bit more seasoned. We're coming into a work environment that is very different. And when I mentioned when I've told people like, I'm getting my MSW, they immediately equate, oh, you're going to go work for CPS. And that is the farthest thing from me because children, yuck, gross, no, that's not my thing. So I feel that we as professionals need to make it very clear about the opportunities and how you can utilize your experience, where you can use it. There was a university in Florida that did a really great advanced, basically lecture series throughout the semester. That's why I got to learn about you, Victor, was that series. Well, I feel like that needs to be done more and in broader places. And I think that also helps the other practitioners that are in the field to know, because you can get very cycloned into what you're doing and understanding the ramifications of what all is possible.
Absolutely. Thank you, Christian. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've talked to a lot of students that say the same thing, right? And I think that's my experience as well. Is I wasn't prepared when I decided I wanted to be macro, and I was asking the same questions that most of you are asking. Is like, how do I do that? And I think I think that's definitely something we can do. Um, as a group. And I know there are people here that have that expertise that are willing to share, mentor, and connect with others. So that would be great. Frederick.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. I just want to say thank you for just organizing this. I think this is much needed. People have already spoken to this. In regards to this, some people have already mentioned like some form of continuous communication. I think that would be helpful, just because there are a lot of resources and a lot of information that sometimes can be like siloed or secluded, not on purpose, but just because, you know, the nature at times of macro social work is very secluded, right? If you're working on something, you're probably, when you're done with that project, you're probably on to the next,
Right.
right? So I think sharing resources, thinking of, and I'm a huge supporter of mutual aid, like sharing resources, being able to talk about what's going on within our own like borders, like states, counties, especially as laws are being passed or executive orders or changes are coming about. Because I think with the media and things like that, a lot of things can be misinformed. But I think us as social workers, since we're always at the front lines when it comes to issues with individuals, it's really important to be able to have that communication, but also just to learn from one another, because we could hear from someone in Texas of how they're doing something with a specific community and it's working way better than what's happening in New York City, and we could learn something and kind of like adapt that to our area. So I think really continuing to have these conversations and just sharing resources is essential, especially during this time.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Frederick. And I noticed in the chat as well, that some of you are asking to help out, like to put together communications. So if you could give me your name and email address, I'll gather all that information. Or you could put it in the chat as well, because I'll have a record of that. If you just want to put your email in the chat, that's fine. And I could put all this information together, and those of you who have offered to help, whether it's and I'm not hip on all the different communication methods that we use these days, that you all are using, but I have heard of Slack and I've heard of a few others. So if someone wants to help with that, I that would be great. Let me know. All right, Elena, how you doing? And good to see you.
Victor, it's Alana. It's okay.
Alana, sorry, Alana.
It's okay. You can call me Lana, whatever. Well, first of all, like accolades and like major props to you for organizing this. It takes so much effort to get people together. So thank you so much for this.
Sure.
I think like what I could say, I guess, is that, as someone who's been in the field for over 15 years, I've experienced so much trauma like in the workplace. I'm not sure if anyone else has experienced that as a macro social worker, but often you have to deal with, a lot of red tape. And I'm sure there's a lot more that's happening right now. I'm not currently in the field. I'm an entrepreneur now. I'm in the coaching consulting world, but also I'm in the creative spiritual world. And that's a whole other area that really needs us actually. So I think it'd be really cool actually to know like who is in the same worlds, right? Like to take some kind of survey or something that we can have where we can gather, because not everyone is in the same areas as us, obviously. And then organize like and help like collaborate and co-create. Like I have so many resources, it's not even funny. I would love to like access those resources that I have already and not hoard them and not like keep them for myself and share them. If you connect with me on LinkedIn, like please like do so. Like as many of us do, I have a wealth of connections because that is the world that I've been in. Like I can't make it up, So I think it's important to also know our strengths and like where we love to be and not be forced to be in areas that we don't want to be in.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get
So-
paid too. That'd be great. I would
Yeah.
love to get paid because I've been out of been out of work, let's say, out of the traditional workforce since 2022. And being an entrepreneur is like the craziest, like roller coaster ride. But I'm sure there's people in here that have had experience actually being successful in these in the areas that I'm interested in. So
Right.
yeah.
Great.
Thank
Thank you. Yeah, I think we could definitely do that. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. Let's see. Tori.
Hello, everyone. First, I just feel so excited and encouraged to be here and to be a part of this group. I'm so grateful to you, Victor, for setting this up. It's so simple. I don't know why why it's so hard for like-minded people to get together. So just thank you so much for creating this space. Everyone has had such wonderful ideas, and I'm having trouble keeping up with the chat and listening, and I'm just so excited. Anyway, so for the last 2.5 years, I've been working in refugee services. I've been helping run a federal grant to help newly arrived refugee students and their families become acclimated to the American school system. And my position, as I shared in my groups, is coming to an end. And so I am here to learn what more I can do as someone in this field for refugees who are losing all of these services, but also for individuals who are losing all of their jobs, and also what's the next step. And there's just a lot of unknown right now. And so I think that one of the first things we can do, people have already started adding this to the chat, is connecting on LinkedIn. And I don't know, I'm kind of new to LinkedIn. I'm trying to beef it up so that I can, start to network more. But I think you can have groups on LinkedIn and just continue to connect there. And then also, oh, I had another thought. I'm blanking because of course, I'm trying to read the chat as I'm talking. Yeah, I don't know. I think that having these connections is so important. And I've worked remote for the last 3 years. And so networking hasn't been as easy for me as someone who works in my own home. And so I'm excited to be able to have the opportunity to do some sort of virtual networking, because I would love to know more of what macro social workers do, because as many have mentioned, it's not taught as much in programs. And this wasn't even on my radar when I started this profession. And so I want to learn from the people that are actually in it, from the people that are really passionate about it. So I don't have any, amazing, insightful, incredible thing to say. I would love to stay connected via LinkedIn or whatever way. Slack, I'm not as familiar with those either, but I'll be happy to download it and figure it out. So yeah, just thank you all for being here and letting me talk.
Awesome. Thanks, Tori, for sharing. And yeah, yeah, unfortunate reality. I know so many colleagues right now that are, um, I have a colleague I spoke to in Indiana because of what's going on in the governor's office and with um, the the head of the Department of Children's Services there. All of her consulting contracts have been cut. And so she no longer has her consulting business. I mean, she has nothing, no consulting contracts at all anymore. I have a colleague that works for the VA, and he gets emails at 3 in the morning saying, okay, here's the list of people you're going to fire next week. Um, and it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Then those are just two. I mean, and I know you all know people that are going through it right now. And so it's a really tough time. So I appreciate the fact that you all want to get together. I think it's definitely, we as social workers, we want to, we're just not going to sit back and take it, right? We have to be able to do something. And I think getting together and talking and figuring out how we could share resources and support each other and lift each other up, I think is a benefit, not just for us, but for everyone and for all social workers and the people that we work with and the places where we live. So I really, really appreciate. Let's see, we have a few more hands up here. Khalifa,
Yeah, hi.
what's your name?
Yeah, you pronounced it correctly. Thank
Okay.
you. I'm hoping to get like more collaboration and advocacy, especially in a time like now, because we are you could say unprecedented times, but like a lot of what's been happening is having such a huge heavy impact. Like it's important for us to assemble together and kind of stand up together instead of just like as just sole individuals and like trying to connect our agencies however we can to stand up together. I think we've seen, even though like yes, it's a prestigious institution, but we saw Harvard and a couple of the Ivy Leagues do it together. I think it's very important for us to do that because it's like literally lives, at stake. That's where we're at right now. I'm seeing it impacted in my own day-to-day life. I work for Job Corps. Our whole program, like the whole Job Corps in each and every state might be cut by May 30th. And that was like such a crazy wake up call to get like yesterday. And like my birthday was the day before. So it's just insane. And like the amount of services and ways that we support youth is just like completely in jeopardy. And there's nothing that's going to be put in place to kind of remedy that. And I also had heard like same things happening possibly with like Head Start too. So it's like, this is really bad. We're in a really bad situation. So it's best for us to come together like right now and figure out what we're going to do like as a collective, so.
Right. Right. Yeah, it doesn't do us any good to be all sitting in our own individual houses or apartments or driving around in our cars thinking about what can we do, right? Because there's only so much we can do individually, but if we come together, I mean, imagine, there's 38 of us on this call. I mean, I've been with groups of two or three people that we've gotten a lot of stuff done. Imagine if we all got together in some fashion to get to work on some things that we could really get a lot done. And with all the people that we know and the contacts that we have, it could really be far-reaching. So I think there's some great energy here and some great ideas, and I hope that we can all work together to kind of keep it going and keep ourselves moving forward. So, Regina,
Okay, so thank y'all for being here. I needed this and I didn't know I needed it. Victor just dropped into my DMs and I was like, what is this about? I I have pivoted from macro social work to working with individuals and families. I offer support um, through psychotherapy and wellness coaching, particularly to adults with a new diagnosis of ADHD or any kind of neurodivergent. Like it's amazing. Um, I I am excited that there's so much energy, but I also am a little and I'm dating myself. I was saying in the small groups, like this reminds me of the sky is falling, the sky is falling, when there was reform on welfare for the poor. Clinton did it. He decided to tell everybody go find a job and said nothing about childcare. So where were you supposed to put your kids? um, After, later on, it was workforce development programs like Job Corps who had to tell their students or participants that you have to go find a job because this isn't considered a job, even though you're learning how to enter the workforce. And what the common denominator and frustration was there were two things that have been left out of direct practice. And that is one, including our client stakeholders in understanding advocacy and systems and fundraising. So for those two programs that folks were so excited about having this resource and their lives are going to be on a different trajectory, they knew nothing about how to call their congressperson. And one of the programs was literally beneath in the floor beneath me in Baltimore, Maryland, where we were a citizen action group. All we did was trained citizens to step out of the anger and step into the solution. So we've got to start even at the education, um, including macro in clinical and clinical in macro. There's no way I could have made this shift without my macro work. The sky is always falling. And I think when we see it as humans, we rise up and we get through it and we start pushing systems for vouchers for folks going back to work or going to work for the first time, right? So we have evidence of where we had to respond and be reactive. I think this is an opportunity for us to become proactive because there are still folks at the federal level who truly believe in starting at the grassroots, meeting the need, making the assessment, coming up with the program that works for that group. And they need to be supported, right? Because it's much less, the numbers are lower, but they're still there. And what they have learned in their career is how to make sure that you're getting the receipts in and the reports are in, not how to do the work. And so it's an incredible opportunity for us to use, like, our superpower is relationship building. I can I can build a rapport with somebody in 10 seconds. Victor's about to help me with my sister, y'all. Y'all just don't know. He doesn't know yet. He's my new best friend. So it's tapping into what really speaks to you and recognizing that we all have an opportunity. And we just kind of have to keep looking for what fits when, right? So I'm excited to be a part of the group. If I love doing my sessions with my clients, but I would love to do just some, problem solving, some processing with folks who are out here feeling like they don't have the resources that I know I had. I had mentors who thought I was way more capable than I did. And I am sure that those same folks mandated that I do the same. So, however I can support, I'm here. I needed this. So, Victor, thank you for meeting this need for me. And I just want folks to stay encouraged. Stand on what you know to be true. We have seen some really fucked up times, and I'm a cussing therapist also. Uh, we've been through them. And at each point, we said, oh no, this is worse than before. Oh no, this is worse than 3 strikes, you're out. People are going to lose their whole lives. We have seen it happen. We have seen the response, and we still rise. And so we got to just get in front of it. I'm
Yep.
so excited about somebody running for office. Girl, let me know. I'll come door knock with you. Let's do it. So, I send you so much powerful energy and encouragement. And just know that you are exactly where you're supposed to be right now, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. I am. So thank you for letting me talk, Victor.
Oh, Regina, oh my God, that was awesome. That was awesome, amazing. We need you at every meeting, Regina. I'm going to invite you to every meeting so we can all get pumped up. But I'm telling you that you are speaking the truth. You are speaking the truth. As someone who has, I've been a social worker for over 30 years.
Mhm.
So I have the benefit of looking back. I agree with you, Regina. I mean, this is not the first time something like this has happened. You all are saying in this time. Well, guess what? There were lots of those times in my career where we
Yeah.
said, "Oh my God," especially when I was an undergrad and Reagan got elected, same thing.
Woo.
Oh my God, the sky's falling. It's going to be horrible. All this
Mhm.
stuff's going to happen. Guess what? Same thing's happening today. It looks a
Yeah.
little different. Looks a lot
Yeah.
more scary because we see it every second of the day, but it's no more, it doesn't change what we do as social workers. It doesn't change our mission. It doesn't change our values. It doesn't change what we're doing to help other people, like Regina is, in whether it's in direct micro practice or whether it's in our neighborhoods, communities, on a macro level. We're all social workers, and we need to come together to support each other and figure out how we're going to move forward. So we're glad to to be together. I'm glad that we're all together.
Mhm.
Angel has a hand up, and then we only have a few more minutes left, so I want to make sure we get out in time, in a timely manner. But go ahead, Angel.
Hi, I'm in Atlanta. I've had my MSW for 10 years now from Florida State. And if anybody is familiar with the book, The Spook Who Sat by the Door, I am the spook who sat by the door. I have taken what I've learned professionally, personally, and I feel a little bit, I feel encouraged because I find my strength in just meaningful interactions like this, one-on-one interactions. Like my first little bid with AmeriCorps, I was at Big Brothers Big Sisters. I didn't know anything about development, but I raised like $30,000 my first summer just by talking to people face to face. Now people can hang up on the phone, they cannot respond to an email, but like if you're face to face with somebody, they have to meet you where they're at. And there's so many ways to different like to connect with people. And I just quit my job of 7 years just because the macro got taken away from what I was doing and I have to protect my peace at all costs. That goes back into workplace harassment and everything else. I just had to get out. Um, but there's one thing that I think that we should all focus on is do what we want and create a space for ourselves, because trying to fit into places where they don't understand us will not be beneficial. I have been successful professionally because I have created my space for myself. I said, I wanted to do this. This is how I envision it. And I just got to rock with an organization or people who are aligned with what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people that don't understand us. And I don't want to say it's a mute point, but sometimes they just won't understand us or even acknowledge us unless we have an MPH or an MBA or a JD or whatever the case may be, you know? And I just want everyone here to feel empowered to create the space that they want. One of the people who I was talking to said that well, I think two things resonated. Our programs didn't understand us. They didn't know how to advocate for us. The macro was just really weak in our programs. And unfortunately, we've just had to create our space. I had to do that with my own internship. There was nothing in Tallahassee for me. I went to Orlando for my internships and I created my own internship for myself. I did asset mapping. I did surveying. I wrote the surveys for grants and things like that. That's what I wanted to do. So I just created it. And I think that we will be successful in just doing what we want to do. My motto was get right or get left. So I think that we all should just do what we want to do. There's a space for us, and we shouldn't have to beg for acceptance. We are who we are, and we're valuable in that. And that's it.
You're right, Angel. Yes. Oh my goodness. What a wealth of inspiration we have here in this Zoom room. It's so great. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate everyone sharing and coming together to talk about the challenges you're having and to impart words of inspiration and wisdom to all of us. Um, and I really am very enthusiastic about moving forward with all of you and bringing more people on. And I think, between what, Angel and Regina were saying, it's really about having full faith and confidence that you are where you're supposed to be. And you're all here for a reason. You're all here for a reason. It's not because I asked you. It's because something inside of you said, I want to be there, or I need to be with this group of people. It wasn't me or anybody else. I facilitated. And so I think we need to take away from this what we need for ourselves and our own professional, personal, emotional, and our own careers and how we are going to move forward. I know, and Regina said this, and I totally agree. I am where I'm supposed to be. I am where I'm supposed to be in my career because what Angel said, I said at one point, I said, the people I was working with didn't value what I brought to the table. So I said, you know what? I know what I have is valuable, and I'm going to go out into the world and figure out who wants what I have to give and who's going to benefit from that. And unfortunately, it's not people that want to pay anything. It's all volunteers, but that's okay. I don't mind it, right? That's where I'm supposed to be right now, and I'm happy. I am content, and because I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And it's because of all your wonderful feedback, the fact that you're here, spending an hour of your time to meet with one another is an acknowledgement to me that this is something that needed to be done. And I'm glad that I was able to facilitate that. And now we're going to do it together from here on now, from now. So I will respond to the emails for those that you wanted access to the form. You probably don't need to do it anymore, but I'll do that. I know a lot of you put your emails in the chat and LinkedIn, right? So if you don't have a LinkedIn, right, Tori, get that LinkedIn going, because that's how I connected with all of you, was through LinkedIn, and so it's pretty amazing. So make sure that we connect, and those of you that had offered to help in ways to facilitate this meeting moving forward. Reach out to me, and maybe we could, get a core group of us together to meet and talk about what our next steps are going to be. And then everyone else, just send your email. I'll keep you in the communication link. We'll probably get a Slack, hopefully get set up, or some other communication device so that we can communicate with each other and share resources in real time and chat with each other. And yeah, I think that's it. I did record this, and hopefully my AI note taker will be sending me some notes so I can get some notes to you just to kind of summarize. I've recorded it, so I'm gonna record it and put it on YouTube so that other social workers that may be interested in joining us in the future will want to join us. Because I know they're going to want to hear from Regina and Angel and everybody else that shared, your stories and your inspiration and what you want from this group. And I think everything that we've talked about is going to be help us to attract others to join us. So I'm going to leave you with this. If you weren't inspired enough, this is something that I had a podcast. I haven't posted in a while because I've been kind of busy the last couple months. But I love this quote that I found, and I think it's what characterizes at least me in terms of my knowing where I'm at. And that is, don't ask yourself, and Angel said this too, don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and then go do that. Whatever it is, whatever makes you come alive, do that, because that's what the world needs. People who are alive, not people who are wasting away in an organization that does not value them. Right? So let's move forward and support each other in kind of finding out and finding out what our light is and pursuing that, and do what we are meant to do in this world together. So thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all the wonderful conversations that you all had, and for everything. I look forward to connecting with all of you very soon. And one more thing, if I could plug myself, go to my website, because I do a lot of political stuff. Right? That's my thing. That's my jam. I'm a political social worker. So anything that has to do with politics, you want to run for office, you want to get appointed to a commission, you want to meet elected officials, you want to have influence in your cities and your counties, hit me up. Happy to help. All right, everyone.